Hey guys, and welcome to a brand new video here on FPL Now. Today we're going to be going over my final team selection for Game Week 21 and the transfers that I'm thinking of making. So if you're excited for the video, make sure to drop a like down below, leave a comment, what are your plans for Game Week 21, subscribe if you're brand new, and let's get into the video. So, starting things off, we're going to take a look at my goalkeeper and my defenders first. In goal, we do have Martinez, who's got Everton away. My other option is, of course, Turner, who's got Brentford away. I don't think either team are going to be keeping a clean sheet in this game week, but I'm just going to go Martinez just because Villa are a better side than Forest. There's not really too much more to talk about. In regards to that, I'm just hoping that Martinez can do something since I brought him in. Goalkeeper transfers have been absolutely terrible for me this season, with obviously bringing in Sanchez when Areola was injured, and then obviously Sanchez got injured. So I had to take a hit to take him out. It was just a whole situation. But yeah, hopefully Martinez can reward me by getting some points on the board, because so far he hasn't been too great to own, and obviously I've just missed out on all of those three like massive Areola hauls, or 2 or 3, whatever he's got. I feel like he's had so many points over the last couple of game weeks. But yeah, Martinez in goal. At the back, Gabriel, Porro, Trent and Anderson. Of course, Trent now injured, out for at least a few weeks, which is, I don't know whether to like see it as not as bad or if it is really, really bad, because this game week is stretched like so long. Like Liverpool don't play for a bit now, and you know, game week 22 isn't for like a few weeks. I know the fixtures aren't exactly ideal for Liverpool after obviously this Bournemouth game, because they've got Chelsea and then Arsenal, but after that they've got Burnley, Brentford, Luton, Forest, but then there's obviously talks of blanks and doubles and everything like that. So it's a whole situation. Like, I don't want to get rid of Trent for him then to be back and then for them to double, but then if I like keep him and then he does miss like Chelsea as well and then they blank, like there's literally no point of keeping him. But we won't find out information about whether they blank and double until like after this game week deadline. So it is a whole just massive annoying situation to be in. But of course, it's not just me. A lot of people are in a similar boat. But in regards to that, obviously I can't play him this week because he is flagged, which did not help me at all, because I have 5 players that currently cannot play this week, and then I also have Anderson and Archer, who I definitely do not want to play this week either. So as you can see, my team is very much in the bin, and if I looked at this team, I'd like, yeah, to be fair, a wild card probably is on the cards, but I feel like I'm not going to benefit much from playing my wild card this week. I think it's just going to help me a lot more later down the line. But either way, Gabriel, who's got Palace at home, Porro, who's got United away, and Anderson, who's got Arsenal away. I may have to just unfortunately play Anderson this week. Obviously, I'll go over my transfers and stuff, you know, after my team selection. But yeah, it's not looking positive in the slightest. There's a lot of things that have also kind of come into play as well. Like, is Archer even going to be starting now, because they've just brought in a new player that could obviously play instead of him? He did get benched against the City game. I'm not sure if that's because they wanted to play with like a low block, and obviously Archer is not really going to offer much in that kind of situation. But at the same time, it could just mean that he's lost his place now, which would also be really, really annoying. But yeah, Gabriel with Palace at home. I mean, maybe a clean sheet in that fixture. Palace haven't been ideal, but neither have Arsenal. Arsenal have been quite bad as well, so I'm not really too sure what to expect with that. I generally think this might be my lowest scoring game week of the whole season so far, and it's just simply because I've got to take a hit, and as well as that, the team is just not looking good at all. Porro, who's got United away, that could generally go either way. Obviously scored a screamer in the FA Cup, so if they can do that again against United, then I'd be very, very happy. But yeah, I'm not really expecting anything massive from Porro in this game week. I think that he will concede. Hopefully going to get an attack and return though, because obviously United haven't been great defensively. And then Anderson's got Arsenal away, not a player that I want to play at all, because, you know, Anderson has literally gotten me nothing. I think I brought him in on like a game week 13 wild card. Actually, no, it was a game week 8 wild card. That's why I brought him in. So I brought him in for the Forest game. I think I played him in that game. Obviously, then 4-0 to Newcastle. And then after that, I think I played him in the Burnley game. But then after that, he's literally got me absolutely nothing. I haven't played him every single fixture, but literally nothing at all. Just 1s and 2s and some 0s in there as well. So, as you can see, been an absolute horrendous player to own since the wild card. And I've been wanting to get rid of him for the longest of time. I just simply cannot, because there's just always problems just cropping up. And I've wanted to get rid of him for like the last 6 game weeks, but I've had injuries every single week. And now with multiple injuries and AFCON and everything like that, it's just a whole situation. But either way, that's the back line there. Martinez, Gabriel, Porro and Anderson. I've got 4 players playing. probably none of them are going to be keeping a clean sheet out of them. In midfield, obviously, we've got Son, who is not going to be playing. I just can't. I have to put him on my team in this team selection because I've already got 3 red flags on my bench. But yeah, Son won't be playing this week, so I don't need to talk about him. And then Palmer, who's got Fulham at home, and then Saka, who's got Crystal Palace at home. Generally wasn't thinking about captaining Saka, but now, like, I don't think he's actually that bad of a shout. And as I've always said, I don't think he's got like a massive haul in him. But at the same time, like, there's nobody else. But the thing is with this game week as well, like, because let me just quickly go to like the actual fixtures. Like, this game week is literally stretched from the 12th of January, which is today, all the way until the 22nd of January. So I think it makes more sense to captain a player around these fixtures here, because anything can happen in a week. You know, if I say captain Saka for next Saturday and then he goes and gets injured, like, it's just going to screw me over. So I think it makes more sense to captain somebody that is going to play soon, because obviously anything can happen in a week, and there's fixtures in between as well. There's like FA Cup replays and stuff like that, Carabao Cup, stuff like that. Like, it's just anything can generally happen. And so do I just go Palmer? That's the thing. I have no City players. Obviously, I could bring in Alvarez, but I think that would be not the smartest transfer, just simply because, you know, Haaland's probably going to be back. We might get a pet. I think we might get a pet presser today. Obviously, I'm recording this in the morning because the deadline is at crazy o'clock. But either way, it's just one of those that I think I've been thinking about, because if I do captain, like I say, Saka, or, you know, someone from like a Brighton fixture or something, it's just so far away that I just don't think it's generally going to be worth it. But either way, that was just something that I was also thinking about. But yeah, that's the midfield. And then obviously up top, we have Archer, Watkins, and Solanke. So West Ham at home for Archer, who may not even play. As I say, he's been playing like pretty good minutes for a while, but then obviously that City game has put me off a little bit, and they've just signed someone that can play in Archer's position, so that's also a little bit worrying. And then we've also got Watkins, who's got Everton away, and then Solanke, who's got Liverpool at home, which again, both not the greatest captaincy shouts. Like, Everton away is a really tough fixture, and then obviously Solanke, who's got Liverpool at home, that's also a tough fixture too. And then obviously on the bench, we've just got a bunch of red flags, and then Turner, who's got Brentford away. So as you can see, the team is pretty bad right now. If we go into my transfers, I've got 4.4 mil in the bank. I'm so happy I rolled the transfer last week though, because I was close to taking Heechan out for Bowen, and then now Bowen is out for... It's being reported that he's now potentially out for 3 months, or up to 3 months. Like, originally it was a month, or up to a month, and now it's potentially like he's torn a ligament or something. So I generally don't know what's happening with Bowen. All I know is that I'm definitely not bringing him in. So I will be taking a hit this week, and I've got 4.4 mil to do it with, and I generally don't know what to do. I'm kind of pushing more towards just getting Trent out and bringing Estepinian in. I'm thinking of just doing that. I know that fixture is a while away, but like, I think he's going to be a really nice option going forward. So that's Estepinian there. So Estepinian would play instead of Trent, so it'd still be a 4-2-3 right now, but obviously I'd have Trent playing there. So I have another free transfer to make. I've got to get rid of a midfielder this week. It's probably going to be Son, because I already have so much money in the bank, and I kind of want a little bit more information on the whole Salah situation with the blanks and the doubles. So I think I'm just going to keep him this week, and I don't need the money. If I'm getting rid of Trent, I can easily bring in like Haaland next week, so obviously I'll be getting rid of Son for someone this week. So I think it will be Son that I get rid of. So I've got 17.3 mil in the bank, and I generally don't know who to bring in for a midfielder. Like with Richarlison, I've already said, like, I don't know how Werner's going to impact his minutes. Plus, I think he's going to be a transfer that I just get rid of in a few weeks regardless. So that's not really anything for the long run. Obviously, other players like Eze's potentially a good shout, but then he's got Arsenal away. Obviously, the fixtures after that are really, really good. But last time I brought in Eze, he got injured in 45 minutes, and then I had to take a transfer to take him out as well. So he's just very injury prone. So I don't know if I want to go around Eze. Foden, obviously, another option, but his minutes also potentially going to be managed now as well. I would love like early team news so much. It's not going to happen. But like a presser or something from Pep where he's like saying, oh, Foden's definitely going to play would be very ideal. But, you know, after the Newcastle game, they've got really nice fixtures as well. It's just his minutes, like, with how bad my team is and how not, like, I've got no bench either. So I have to bring in players that are definitely going to play. And I just don't think Foden really fits that criteria, really. And then apart from that, there's not really a ton. Like, obviously, Bowen's not an option. I mean, Gross is also potentially an option as well. But am I just getting, like, sucked into the limelight? Like, maybe he's just not even going to be that good of an option. But if I bring him in, like, at least he's got some nice fixtures. He's playing 90. His numbers aren't that bad. Obviously, he's not on penalties because of João Pedro. I guess if João Pedro is on the pitch, then maybe he takes one. I'm not sure. But he is just a player that, you know, his numbers have been good. You know, an XG of 0.62 in that game, 0.14 against West Ham, 0.33 expected assist, 0.43 here. Like, his numbers are actually really, really good. And so that is one player that I'm definitely thinking about. But, you know, like, if you'd asked me at the start of this, like, the start of last week, would I bring in Gross? I'd be like, no, definitely not. So it's just interesting how things change. So if I do bring in Gross, that'd be 2 players that I bring in. So I'd be able to field an 11 there. But obviously, it wouldn't be the most ideal 11 because I would have still Anderson and Archer playing. So I think I will be taking a hit this week. And it might be for... This is the thing, I generally don't know. Like, I could get rid of Archer for a Darwin Núñez or an Alvarez or something like that, but I just think I'd have to get... To be fair, it's not the worst thing bringing in an Alvarez, because I think Alvarez will definitely play this week if we get information that, like... I mean, I think Haaland wasn't seen in training again, and so if that's the case, I could bring in Alvarez, take a hit for him, play still play a 4-3-3, have to play Anderson, and then obviously hope that, you know, and then just get rid of Archer, and then just get rid of Alvarez like next week if Haaland's back. But that just seems very counterintuitive. So I might just keep Archer this week, just hope he plays. I'd rather play Archer, who's got West Ham at home, than play Anderson, who's got Arsenal away. So I'm either going to be making a midfielder or a defender transfer. I could get rid of Hee-chan, like I say, for somebody else, but then would I still have enough for Haaland? That's the thing. So Haaland, like I say, if I want to bring Haaland in next week, then I'd have 1.4 mil to mess around with Hee-chan. So that's not too bad. 7 mil is decent. Like, I could bring in Richarlison if I really wanted to, and just have a 3-5, obviously have 5-player midfield, well, 4-player midfielders, because obviously Salah's not going to be playing, but then 3, because I kind of think I want to switch to a 3-4-3. So if I do bring in Richarlison, I just have enough money to do that with 0.1 in the bank, and I do have enough to bring in Haaland next week if need be. And that's just simply because I'm going to be getting rid of Trent. So that's not too bad. Obviously, I can't bring in like Foden if I wanted to do that. I just don't know what my other midfielder would be if I bring in somebody. And I mean, I could bring in a defender for Anderson as well. But like, who else do I bring in for Anderson? Like, it's one of those, like, the only decent fixtures this week I've already kind of got players for. So it doesn't really make any sense to bring in, like, anyone. Like, obviously, Gabriel's got a decent defensive fixture. Obviously, Estepinian's got a decent defensive fixture. The other thing is I could generally just bring in, like, Pedro Neto for Wolves. Like, Neto has actually been, like, really, really good this season. Obviously, he had that hamstring injury, which really hurt him in terms of, like, his form. But before that hamstring injury, like, 5-4, 5-4, 9, 5, 10, 7, like, he was just returning every single fixture. The only thing is, if I bring him in, he doesn't have the greatest fixtures, plus... as well as that, he'd be playing my defender this week. So it just doesn't make any sense. And I know I'm rambling a lot now, and it's generally because I just don't know who to bring in for this. And it's for a hit as well. But it's like, I don't have to take the hit. I could just bring in Trent and, like I say, Trent. I could just bring in Estepinian and Gross, and then just play a 4-3-3, and just have to deal with a really bad game week. Or I just take the hit and just, because like next week. Obviously, Anderson's got, and I think Anderson's got Sheffield United next week. So, yeah, at home. So, I that's why I don't really want to get rid of Anderson this week, because I can just play him next week with a bad bench. That's not bad. And then that'll allow me to make a transfer. You know, if Haaland is back, I can just easily bring him in. And then, obviously, just slowly pick away at these, like, players at AFCON and stuff. But I do need, like, a player like Kabore, like, I don't need to get rid of. Like, I'm not going to be playing him anyway. It's just a shame that, obviously, he has gone to AFCON, because it would have been nice to have another playing player. So, yeah, I think it's going to have to be another midfielder transfer this week for someone that's not playing. And then, you know, if worse comes to worse and someone misses out, like Arch misses out, I just have Anderson coming off the bench. But I just think that, as much as I don't like taking hits, I just think my hands kind of turn, and I just kind of have to. So I generally don't know what other midfielder to bring in this week. I'm very much kind of just unsure. Like, it has to be a player under 7 mil, so I can bring in Haaland next week for Archer. But as well as that, under 7 mil, I mean, let's look at who we've got in terms of midfielders under 7 mil. I mean, Douglas Luiz isn't bad really, but I mean, 3 Aston Villa players isn't even bad either. Like, I generally could bring in Douglas Luiz, and that's the thing. Like, I don't think it's that bad of a shout. Like, Everton away obviously isn't ideal. Newcastle at home, you know, that I think Villa will probably win that game. And then they've got Sheffield United. United at home's a good fixture. Then they've got Fulham, Forest, Luton. Like, he's a cheap player. He's on penalties. And he's actually been just having a really, really good season as well. Like 10 points in the last game. I know that was because of a penalty. Obviously scored in the Sheffield game, scored in the Spurs game. You know, scored against Luton, got 15 points against West Ham. Like, just having a player with a penalty is just always ideal because, like I say, like last game week, he wasn't getting anything against Burnley, got a penalty, and then obviously got 10 points, and it's just the difference. So, potentially just bring in Douglas Luiz, who's got Everton, and just triple up on Villa. And, you know, Villa have been pretty good this season. They've got Sheffield United in a couple of weeks as well. So, maybe just do that and then just play a 3-4-3, take the hit, play Douglas Luiz and then Anderson first bench and then maybe just do that. But it's just feeling weird going against like Foden and stuff, but that would allow me to bring Haaland back in next week and that's why I kind of want to do it. And in regards to anyone else, like I don't have to bring in a player under 7 mil and then that obviously I wouldn't be able to bring in Haaland next week, but you know, what other options are there? Like Foden minutes risk, Richarlison I'd just be getting rid of anyway in the future. Odegaard isn't a bad pick really. That is someone I could bring in. Even somebody like Ward-Prowse. This is a thing. Like the options are so minuscule. But you know, if I don't bring in Haaland next week, then obviously I could bring in like Odegaard this week. But I don't know. Just when I look at this team though, like it looks so bad on paper. My lord, like there is nobody like absolutely anywhere near like a high price point in this team. It's ridiculous. Like my most expensive player that I have that's playing is Saka, which is ridiculous. Like, there's no premiums in this team apart from obviously Salah, but he can't even play, and I've got 10.8 mil in the bank. So I don't know. I'm honestly just gonna have to think about it, but it is just the situation right now. I've just been rambling because I generally just don't know what to do. But I think Estepinian and probably Gross I'm gonna be bringing in, and then I mean the fixtures are good. I just gotta play the fixtures and just hope that things go right. But it's just a bad situation to be in, honestly. Like. I made myself in this situation by having Kabore and Hee-Chan, obviously two players that were going to be getting going off abroad, but it's not helped with the like situation with other players being out as well, like Trent and stuff like that. The Trent injury really hurt me this week because I could have played him and then I probably wouldn't have had to take a hit because I could have just got rid of like Kabore and Son this week and then I would have been fine, but it is what it is. Anyway, that's going to be everything for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please do consider hitting the like button down below. Let's try and hit 50 likes. Leave a comment. What are you doing this week? Subscribe if you're brand new. Until next time, peace.